is up, fight fans? Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media, and we are here today with a very special guest, somebody that's going to be appearing on the first ever Sacramento MMA card over there for A1 Combat. My man, the El Matador, Hector Fajardo. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be here. First show at Sac State. I'm excited to put on a show in front of everybody and handle this unfinished business from November.
6-3 prospect over there from Team Alpha Male, been getting the work with the likes of Uriah Faber, Slava Claus, and obviously with Josh Emmett, you just had a huge helping hand in that training camp with him and Bryce Mitchell. How was that to kind of get to pair that along with your training camp as well for Arnold Jimenez? Was that kind of special? You guys kind of both getting to prepare for some pretty big fights in your guys' careers in the same kind of timeline?
Yeah, no, it was perfect. When my fight fell out the first time, it actually lined up perfectly with Arnold, because Josh had just started his camp. So it was perfect for me to jump right. Like as soon as I got down, I was like, oh man, like what am I gonna do now? Like, especially because as soon as the fight got canceled, we relined it immediately for January. So it was perfect. Like Josh still had he still had like 8 weeks, and I still had 10 weeks. So usually Josh will use me for camps, and that's when I gain a lot of experience. I actually level up quite a bit. And since he was fighting Giga Chikadze, it was perfect because Giga and I are very similar, and he was a southpaw. So it just fell in perfect. So I was just like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to take this time to get ready, help Josh get ready for a fight. And then in turn, like I just took it as an opportunity to level up myself. And it lined up perfectly because I felt that I was able to take it a whole nother level. Like we really put in a lot of hard work for those 8 to 10 weeks getting ready for Giga. Then it switched to Bryce, and then we saw that fight go like 30 seconds. So it's kind of cool to see Josh. Like no one's ever gonna know how hard we really like worked for those weeks, but for it to only show up and it's like, oh, it's like a minute. Like that's dope. Like that's dope. But no, everything lined up perfectly for me. I was able to take a little bit of a step back, relax, but then jump right into his camp. And then when his fight ended, then it was perfect because then I kind of like tailored back a little bit. I was ready to go, and then picked it up again. Still got to put in another 4 weeks, and here we are. Perfect.
He's been on a tear, got that KO power. Any word on the Max Holloway bout? I know that's something that he was pushing for. I know that's something that a lot of you gym mates are pushing for. Team Alpha Male has been active and getting a lot of their fighters some matchups. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later, obviously, with that huge UFC 300 announcement. But I mean, Max Holloway and Josh Emmett, man, that would be a huge fight for not only Max to kind of propel him back into that title picture, but Josh as well to get him right back into that title shot. Do you think that's something the UFC is going to look forward to matchmaking in this 2024 year or beyond?
I definitely think that's the fight to make. Max really doesn't have anybody else to fight in the division to kind of relight his path. And Josh is, I think the only fight that makes sense for Josh is forwards. And Max is a fight to make. I think that's good. That would be fireworks. I really hope it happens. It's great matchmaking, and it gives the people what they want. It's an exciting matchup, and I really hope it happens. Like Josh will be ready to go. I'll probably be there helping him get ready for that if that gets put together. So I'll be excited for that too. As soon as I get done with Arnold, then hopefully they set that fight up, and if they do, like I said, I'll be helping Josh get ready for that.
A1 Combat has kind of been a mainstay, a home for you. You're 2-1 with the promotion, and you had a really close fight with Joseph Dorado in your last fight. You put up a lot of great displays of your striking, and I even kind of made a lot of mentions of your judo as well. You were showing a lot of those underhooks and just really putting him into a lot of bad positions. Can you give us kind of watching the fight back afterwards, and you got the split decision nod? How do you feel about the fight looking back, getting a couple of months to kind of sit back and get to watch it a little bit more?
That fight was a great fight. Dorado was the original title. He was the original title contender to fight Peyton. Originally, it was supposed to be him and Talbot back when I fought Peyton Talbot. Dorado pulled out with like 2 weeks to go because of a rib injury, and then they called me in, and I fought Talbot on 2 weeks, and then Talbot and I put one of A1's best fights ever. So it's like that fight made sense when they matched us up. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And it was a great fight. Like Dorado was a very dangerous opponent. And he showed why he was the original contender. Like, it made sense when I went out there and I fought. I was like, okay, this guy was supposed to be one of the top dudes, and he showed it. The fight was close. He came out ready to fight, and even though he missed weight, it was good. It was close. I definitely saw a split decision. But that fight had me dig deep. I don't fight anybody easy. Everybody I fight is tough. Like, and I didn't think it was going to go any different with Dorado, and Dorado is dangerous. We all saw in the first round, he caught me with a good one. And the dude's got power, and he's a complete fighter, and he came out ready to dogfight, and that's what I had prepped for. I was like, this dude's going to come and give me 3 hard ass rounds, and I don't think he's going to go away. And that's exactly what happened. So I enjoyed that fight. I enjoyed everything that happened in that fight and everything that went down. It pushed me to another level and really bite down and like scrap and show I think I showed a complete game, which was the major difference in that fight was I showed not just it wasn't just a boxing fight. It was an MMA fight that included, I won the grappling exchanges, the clinch exchanges. I threw a lot more kicks than he did, but I will give him the dude can crack. He can crack for sure. He can crack, and he's a dog. And I hope he gets back on the circuit and turns it around and smokes somebody else and makes me look good. But all the guys that I fight, like I said, he showed that why he was the original title contender. And I just wanted that to be known on my end too, because that should only elevate me a little bit more. Like, I pride myself on the quality of my opponents, and like I said, I don't fight any cream puffs, none whatsoever.
I love that terminology, cream puffs. I don't think I've heard any fighters really use that towards their opponents or towards any guys. You hear the terminology cans, but cream puffs, I like that. Because they just
cream puffs.
But I love that, man. I love your kind of confidence as well with the opponents that you take. Do you feel fighting a guy like Arnold Hernandez, somebody that's 8-3, you coming off a win off a guy that was just fighting for the title over there? I know your guy Dwight Joseph, he's got the title over there for A1, but where do you think that kind of sets you up in all this? I mean, it's kind of a wild A1 combat bantamweight division. I was talking about it with Tom. You guys have so many talented fighters over there at the 135 spot. Where do you think a win over Arnold Jimenez puts Hector Fajardo in the whole scheme of things?
So I really wanted to take this year to rebuild myself, because at the beginning of the year, prior 2023 was kind of rough. I was on a 3-fight skid. I fought Talbot on 2 weeks and lost, and that was 3 in a row. Well, technically 2.5 in a row, because I have a 1-round decision loss, which honestly I shouldn't count. But regardless, I was on a little bit of a skid. So I really wanted to take that year to really rebuild myself and put myself back on the radar. And I felt with the Ty Costa fight, I showed that it was a tough fight. Again, not another cream puff. That guy was 5-5 and durable and had a very tough style, and that helped me get my momentum back, and then get right back on board with Dorado. And then Dorado was another great one that put me back on it carried my momentum that much higher. And then it just made sense because Arnold made sense because we were matched up for a Fury card that got scrapped in Visalia. So he was on my radar as far as like potentials once I started building up some steam. And I really wanted to knock out 3 fights this past year. Obviously, it didn't happen. That's the fight game. But we set it up for January, which is a great way to start the year for me. Stylistically, I think Arnold has a great style. I think it's going to be another dogfight. We're ranked right around each other in Tapology. I believe I'm 27. He's 28 in the state. So we're on each other's radar. I think stylistically we're very quite a bit similar. And he's got something I want to take. Like he's got more wins than I do. I think the quality of my wins are higher than his, but he still has more wins than I do. And he's fought guys like he fought Josh Emmett, who was on the Contender Series. So I feel like there's something to take, something to elevate as just another step on my journey. And I beat Arnold. I think I climb out of this hole, and I'm back on the radar for the major promotions. And as far as the rest of the division, like right now I'm very long-sighted. I'm very glad that Dwight got the belt. I thought it was a great fight with him and Rivas. That fight made sense. And while he has the belt, like that's awesome. It's my teammate. I'm always going to support my teammate. But I think Dwight is very close to getting another call from another major promotion or maybe from the UFC. We don't know. He could get the call and then there you go. He vacates. Or he might take another fight and defend it, whatever it may be. For me, I'm in the business of trying to get my paychecks a little bit higher. So I feel like I want to get paid my money's worth. So I feel like my fights are super exciting. I've shown it to the promotion time and time again. I've put these fights on Fight Pass. I would like to start getting paid some more money. So that's really where my goal has shifted. Would a belt be nice? Yeah, sure. But if it doesn't happen, then where I'm looking at is I want to stay active, take another fight, get on the radar for whoever it may be, whether it's Contender Series or PFL. I'm at the point right now where I really don't care. I just know that I want to fight, and I'm going to let my management handle it. And hopefully this is the year where I break through and get where I need to get and start making these paychecks, because I had 12 free fights as an amateur, so I didn't get paid for those, and I've never really cared about getting paid as a professional. Like I've never been a stickler for that check. And this sport, especially on the regional level, doesn't pay crazy well. You gotta love what you do, and I do. But I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, it's time to start getting paid for getting my money's worth. And I feel I put down quite a good quality of fights, as a showman. So it's time to start making my checks. My wife's at the highest level, and I'm like, I need to get to that level too. Like we need to make this a household thing. So that's where my eyes are at right now.
Speaking a little bit about that, I love how you brought that all together. You really kind of tied it into my next question. I was just about to ask you. Cory just got her fight announced with Jacqueline in March 16th. How are you feeling about that fight? I know this was a long process for Cory to get back. She had some health issues that she was dealing with. How was that to kind of I've spoke with both of you guys about this before, about that partner and fighter relationship and how it can be a little bit troublesome at times. And how was that to kind of see her build up and her getting back to the UFC and just getting back into getting on one of these fight cards? Because I know that she's been hungry to get back into that cage.
I think it works out perfect. As long as we're not in camp at the same time, we're good. The fight's in March, so this allows me to get this fight out of the way, handle what I got to handle. And then as soon as I'm done with this fight, like we're in her camp, which is perfect. Like she's at the 10-week mark. So I'm glad to see her finally get something locked in. She's been chomping at the bit to get a fight going. She was gonna try to get something towards the end of this past year, but it just didn't happen. And I think this was just perfect timing. March is perfect. I like the opponent. It makes sense. Jacqueline just came off a win, and she fancies herself as a high-level grappler, which is excellent because my wife is a high-level grappler. So this is good. I'm excited. It's going to be a good test, especially with like Cory. Like she beat Cheyenne, which was tough. That was a tough matchup. So this is a good next step forward. And for her, I just want her to get her momentum going. She's on a streak. Like let's keep it going. And I like I said, I like the matchup with Jacqueline. From a training partner aspect, she's she's already a pretty solid grappler, so it's like we just need to we just got to sharpen up the tools and just keep going. Like stylistically, this I like the matchup, and yeah, we just got to keep it going and just make sure that we're ready to go and we're the best versions of ourselves. And then I'll worry about my fight after that. My goal usually is like for every one fight that Cory gets, I want to be able to smack 2 or 3 fights in between that. And I'm like right there. So it's like perfect because it's like as a partner, I want to be able to help focus on her when it's her time. So, but it's perfect. I think everything's lined up excellent. I couldn't be happier.
I think that's a real true testament to your guys' love for each other as well, kind of showing like, hey, I'm willing to sacrifice, you're willing to sacrifice. And that really just goes to show, man, that there really is sacrifice and really is true love out there in the world, guys.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you guys keep your hearts out there and you guys keep on pushing forward, man, because you guys never know, man. Speaking a little bit more about that women's MMA scene, though, at Team Alpha Male, it just seems like they have been killing it, man. Tina Black's gained a title shot over there, and then you got Dana just made the announcement the other day for Yaunin. She's going to be fighting on UFC 300. Cory just got a fight announced. Team Alpha Male women's MMA killing the game right now. What are your thoughts about it all?
Yeah, the entire squad from the women's standpoint is doing really good. I'm super excited to see Tina get her title shot. That's somebody that's been flying under the radar, and she's gonna put a lot of promotions on. She should put the UFC on notice. That's somebody that's UFC caliber. That needs to get on that level, and it's just kind of to me personally, like it's just a crime that Tina's not in the UFC, honestly. So that's dope to see. Jan getting her title shot is amazing. Like that's a massive opportunity. And yeah, everybody's killing it. Cory's next. We got a whole room full of killers in here and a lot of hungry women, which is good. That balances out the team really great. So I'm excited to see everybody like doing great. Like then Maritza just came off a big win with Combate. Like everybody's just killing it. So the room energy is really high. So super excited from that standpoint.
You guys have been killing it on all sectors, not only women's MMA, but men's MMA, the male side of things as well. I mean, you guys just had Andre Touchy Philly go out there and get a huge win in December. You guys had Josh Emmett, Cody Garbrandt, like the names. I could just continue and go on. Danny Castillo, a constant coach of the year candidate. Team Alpha Male has been killing the game over there in California, killing it regionally, killing it on the UFC circuit. Last couple of questions today for you, Hector. I really appreciate your time today. Awesome getting to speak with you before your matchup on January 19th. I know you rep your Mexican American heritage hard. You are very, very, very heavy with that flag. You always represent. What are some things that when it comes down to fight camp, when it comes down to cutting everything out, are some foods that you're missing, or some things about the culture? I know we just had the holidays. What are some things that you miss coming into fight camp? Some goodies, maybe. What is it?
I'm in fight camp year round. So I've over the years I've figured out how to balance the right amount of everything. So I'm at a point where I'm not really missing anything because I get a little bit of something here and there. So I work for what I for my reward. So I find time on the weekends to sneak in some food. So I do a pretty good job of like balancing everything because I'm an absolute workhorse. So it's like, I'll sneak, but it's all about portion control too. So it's like, I'll sneak in a taco here and there, like, as long as I don't gorge myself. But no, man, I it's all about balance, and I take pride in like I train 7 days a week, like no joke, year round, 7 days a week, and it's not like a drag to me. It's the way I like to live, and that's the way I am. So to me, I just figured out how to balance everything and just enjoy life. And you work for what you earn. You earn your treats. So work hard, play hard.
You're not going to be like Patty Pimblett looking out of camp with a couple more pounds on you. My man Hector is.
I limit myself outside of camp. That's one thing that's like I set a limit, and it's like you can't put a price on feeling good, personally. So it's like I want and not to mention like I'm in a position where I'm always waiting for something last minute. You never know when something's gonna pop up. Like Like I took that title fight on 2 weeks. Like I fought on Combate on 8 days and got a win. Like you never know what kind of position. Like I never want to be in a position where I'm like, oh shit, I didn't get to jump on this because I wasn't ready. Like I kid you not, if somebody slipped on a banana peel and they needed someone in the UFC in like 4 days, I would be one of those guys who would be like, boom, like sign me up, I'll do it. So I always want to stay ready. So I don't want to miss any opportunities. Like I'm super hungry to get to where I need to get. So by any means necessary. So if that means I got to sacrifice and train year round, so be it. But for me, it's like I literally live like I'm a Dragon Ball Z nerd and a Mexican. Like that's the most dangerous combination that you could make. Like literally, no joke. I'm the epitome of Dragon Ball. Like I am a Mexican for sure. Like it does. Like,
Mexican. I think that may have to replace the Matador, man. Mexican. That's too good. That's golden right there, dude.
I live it, man. I train, I eat, and I just train. And then what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. I come back stronger every time.
Any
Literally.
sponsors you wanted to thank? I know you obviously had a lot of people that at Team Alpha Male, a lot of people that help you get ready, but anybody in particular that you wanted to thank for this big fight camp helping lead into A1 Combat 17?
Yeah, a big shout out to obviously Team Alpha Male. It's where I train. It's my home. Shout out to my coaches. I literally just had a session with Joey Rodriguez right before he took off for a family trip. So he snuck me in for some work, and that was amazing. Danny Castillo, who like juggles 100 different things and still manages to find time for me. Hector Sandoval's always been in like every single one of my. I think the only time he hasn't been in my corner was like one fight, and that was because of COVID. COVID restrictions. They only let you take one corner. But he's always been a major part. Obviously my wife, biggest support. Everything's been amazing with her. So it's like that's been rock steady. Iridium Sports Agency is always taking care of me, always hooking it up. Been with them for years now, so it's like I'm just ready to to pay back on the investment now with this year. And yeah, ONU Studios, they always cut my hair out in Sacramento. Veganism. I'm always they're a company in the Bay Area. They always hook it up with CMOS and all this like great stuff. Health as well. But yeah, just in general, those are major sponsors. But all the support and love that I get from the gym and my circle, it means everything to me.
Thank you so much for your time today, Hector. It has been a privilege getting to speak with you. I always get to chat with you a little bit at the A1 combat cards whenever they're going down, but it was finally great getting to speak with you on a full length interview and really getting to chop it up and get to know a little bit more about El Matador before he gets to go into a really big fight camp or a really big fight, excuse me, for A1 Combat 17, my man. So best of luck to you out there on January 19th. Make sure if you guys are in the Sacramento area, you guys are heading over to Sacramento State and watching the first ever MMA event there and what should be a very, very good partnership for A1 Combat and Sacramento State. Really excited to see how that all flourishes. Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media. We are going to be signing out over here in the San Luis Obispo area with my man over there in Sacktown, Hector Fajardo out of Team Alpha Male. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I always love talking to you, man. You great job on everything, man. I love your journey.
Thank you.